Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream, and that's it. I'll take it from there. I'll contact you, get more details if needed, and then hopefully your dream will appear on the show. So I'm going to start off with one from Juan. I got an email in Spanish, which is pretty unusual. Makes me regret letting go of all the Spanish I learned in high school. But anyway, using Google Translate, I figured it out. And he says, I have read your book that Francisca translated, and that's true. My book, my dream interpretation book, is available in Spanish, translated by a listener to the show. Thank you very much, Francisca. And anyway, he says, on 2 occasions, I dreamed of the number 7. The first was that my friend made money, 7 million, and he said part of the money belonged to me because we worked for it. Okay, so that first dream, it's about sharing. 7 is about your spirituality. 7's a really easy number. It's either about age, which it is also about in your dream, or it's about spirituality, and it's about both of them in your dream. So our spiritual side, given by the crown chakra being our 7th chakra, that's our spiritual chakra. It's half in the body, half out of the body. Most chakras are embedded in the body. This one is partially in the body because it's connected between both worlds. So symbolizes our spiritual side. And this guy comes up to you and says, I want to share some of this money I made with you. So money is also about the heart and energy, because money circulates in the economy. So it can symbolize the circulatory system. It's also green, at least in America, it's green. But anyway, he wants to share this with you. So it's about you sharing your spiritual aspects with other people. It's not about getting into partnership with this person at all. The whole idea of this is just to get you, put you on the receiving side and see how happy somebody is when you share with them. So when you share your spiritual side with your spiritual gifts with the other people, it's going to make them as happy as you were in this dream. That's the point of it, for you to realize that. Anyway, your second dream was last night. You say, a friend gave me a computer, but it looked more like an Aladdin lamp, purple, Mexican pink ceramic, and told me that the computer has a capacity of 7 something. Well, you don't say what the something is. And you say, I hope you can help me know what the number 7 means. Okay, so we covered the first one. And the second one, so this computer is not, and you even have it in quotes, it's not a real computer because it's like an Aladdin lamp. And so it's more like an oracle. It's more like going to a source where you can ask it a question and get information. And that's what this computer symbolizes. And, you think about Aladdin's lamp. First of all, a lamp is about having a strong intuitive ability. So you get information through feeling, and you just know things seemingly out of nowhere, out of thin air. Information about people. And this information is going to help lead them spiritually, and that's what purple is about. So it fits with the number 7. Purple and 7 are pretty much the same thing in a dream. And then the Mexican pink, well, that's a mix of pink and purple. But the pink is also about unconditional love, and spiritual leadership, which is the gift that you have, by the way, works through having an open and compassionate heart. And that's what pink symbolizes in a dream. It also says, you've got to work on issues around mom. But very simple dream. It also says, though, that age 7, if you can go back to age 7, you should be able to remember having access to this information. I don't know if you still do it today, but so you had access to this computer, as you call it. And you still do it. We don't lose these things, but the dream brings you back to then to say, to remind you that you had access. And that's part of what you're meant to use in your life going forward today. Is there anything else I need to say about it? No. The computer isn't the normal thing that I would say computers are about, which is conditioning. That's not what it is for you. Because of the context and because it's really it's a translation thing as opposed to anything else. But yeah, work on developing removing every obstacle that causes you to uh, that would allow you to open your heart more fully, because that's your natural state. That's the way you should be. So let's move on. We have a dream from Leni, and she calls it dessert time. My partner and I are at a fancy restaurant, and it is time for desserts, and desserts are very expensive. We get the menus. Okay, so um, feeding people is about healing people, and desserts are quite often used in dreams to indicate healing, because they're a treat. And a healer, of course, treats people. A doctor treats people. So that's what you've got. You've got the ability to treat people, and the desserts are very expensive here. So that's good. I mean, it's not saying, hey, you're going to charge people a lot of money to work on them. More, it's saying, look, your healing ability has great value. That's the point of this in the dream. Just like if you did go to a place that served very expensive desserts, you'd really expect them to be fantastic, and you'd be like salivating at the whole idea of, oh, this is just going to be gorgeous. And so that's the intention in the dream, to get you to really respect your gift. Anyway, we get the menus. On the cover of the menu is one word, Coro, Corot. And you wonder what that is. And I think it's really a mishearing of tarot. And I asked you about that, if you do tarot readings, if you use tarot cards. But anyway, and beneath it is something like a seed of life design, one circle surrounded by 6 circles. I really like that picture. So circles are about the circulatory system, about the heart. So this says this works through the heart for you. So right, yeah, you're a healer. Healing works is a male energy thing. That doesn't work through the heart. But you're also going to give readings at the same time. You're going to impart information. But the healing is the big side of it. And then, so when we see the circles, we know that's the heart. And the inner circle and the 6 circles on the outside, this says you can get onto the dharmic path. It's about going beyond the 5 senses. So I don't know whether you like things to be very grounded and so on, but this is something that's going to require you to push yourself out of that zone. I see that the dessert is a glass of wine, but it also comes with a skewer of marinated, very raw barbecued meat. I am just interested in the wine, but I have to get the meat that goes with it. Okay, so this gives us a lot. And you even gave some comments with the dream. So it's like you like the idea of getting information that people are going to be very happy with, like a good wine, giving somebody a good wine. It's like they're always going to sit back and enjoy that. But what if you also give them something that feels like you've skewered them, or something that's very raw, like you say here, a skewer of marinated, very raw barbecued meat. And also, if you're a vegetarian, I don't know if you are, but this is the kind of symbol a vegetarian would have, because it would be like, well, I don't want the meat. Because you don't want to give people any information that's going to skewer them. And like you said in the dream, you just want to give them the nice stuff. And that's not how it works. And I understand it. I completely understand it. I also dislike when I get a dream that has information that is, is going to be not well received by the recipient. But I can also say this. All the times that I give bad, let's say bad inverted in quotes, information to somebody, they're already aware of it. They expect it. I don't do it on the radio very much, but in one-to-ones, like, so if I get a dream and it's showing that somebody has cancer, it's not something I'm going to cover on the show, but I will contact them and I will talk about it. They always know. They always know. I don't think it's ever been a case when somebody hasn't been aware that something was up. And so when you give them the information, it's not just, hey, you have this serious issue. It doesn't have to be cancer. It could be other things, many other things, psychological as well. They're aware of that, so you give them that. They already know. But the rest of the dream, the rest of the information is going to tell them what they need to do about it. And that's like, you can't give that second piece if you don't say what the context is. So you never want to hold that back. And that's why the dream shows the skewer along with the wine. So it's like something that they're already aware of that is unpleasant, but also this is how you treat it. This is what you need to do. And so that's part of the healing process for them. Very important. Anyway, there's another dessert selection that is a little bit more expensive, $25, and my partner gets this. So 25 is about Channeling is your karmic path. 2 is about channeling, and sharing. 2 is also about dialogue. Is your karmic path. 5 is about the 5 senses. So anyway, you can do it as karma or you can do it on the dharmic path. And my partner gets this 1. I place the order and somehow there is a mix-up, and the woman who handles the orders comes to me with a small stack of orders and asks me to look through them to find mine. I'm looking through the orders of the various restaurant patrons, but I don't see ours. So this says that you have the ability to see the treatment that people need, because you're able to see all the orders for everybody who's in the restaurant. And that's really good. But you don't see your own in there. And you finish the dream with this little piece. You say to the lady, "It is not here. Why don't you go to our waiter? He has our order slip." I tell her. She does, and is able to match us up with our order. So it's saying, in most cases, you're going to be able to see what people need. That's what you looking through the stack of orders is. But in cases where you can't, the waiter is your healing guide. He's the guide that works with you when you're doing hands-on healing with people. You have to trust that he knows what the order is, and so you don't always need to know it. And this could be one of the things that holds you back, is like you like to know everything maybe, and so trust in some situations. In many situations, you'll know what the order is, but when you don't, or what the treatment is, when you don't, just trust that your guide will know what the treatment is and match it up with whoever needs it. There's also a little bit in there about, you having difficulty like knowing what other people need but not knowing what you need. But let's ignore that. That's never true in reality. But I've come across a lot of people who decide up front that they're not going to be able to get information for themselves. But if you can get information for other people, you can always get it for yourself. And I know people then who use different tricks. One woman pretends that she's giving a reading to someone in a mirror, and she finds that allows her to be objective enough and get the information for herself. What else do I want to say? The circles, the seeds. You say it's like a seed of life. So that's about growth. The information that you're giving people and the treatment that you're going to give people is essential for their growth. And even you think about the circle with the other circles expanded out from it, it's like helping people go from where they are to beyond the 5 senses, because you have the 6 circles outside. So it's really, really a lovely dream. And thanks for sharing that with me. And now I have one from Sarah. She says, so Sarah downloaded my dictionary and she sent this in along with a dream. She said, I had 2 dreams with baby elephants, and now I understand it is related to me pretending to have a thick skin as a child, but being very sensitive and not showing my real emotions. That makes a lot of sense. So there you go. Go to the website, dream-analysis.com, download my dictionary. It's free. And you can work out a lot of the things from your own dreams just from that. Anyway, she says, this is a dream I had last night and I'm trying to understand. I tend to have quite long dreams lately and then find it hard to remember everything. That's okay. So here she says, I dreamt that there is a lady who's very nice and kind sitting down for a meal in a garden surrounded by people. I think men. It could be her sons. They are waiting to eat and some are impatient, so they already just started. They're waiting because she should have been able to light a campfire before as a sort of ceremony, but she didn't manage. And then there's a little bit more. Let's see, I can't remember the details. It's in the garden and the others are also busy doing things, but the main thing is to light the fire. Earlier in the dream, it was actually me trying to do the same thing and I didn't manage. It's like if the dream repeated the same situation twice or more. Okay. So lighting a fire, fires are to do with the heart. Any symbol of fire is to do with the heart. So this is about you lighting a fire or reigniting your passion for life or passion for something in particular. But let's just say passion for life in general. And you don't succeed. Now in the dream, it's a woman who's doing it and her sons are waiting for her to do it. And they're disappointed. She doesn't manage. So their view is that she doesn't manage it. So we're going to eat without her. Now you also said, in one of your comments, that you have digestive system issues. You said lots, in fact, like negative food programs, like emotional eating, for example. And so we see that here, but it connects it to the campfire. So it connects it to issues around mom. Now, the digestive system is male, so that's why the sons are there, and they're eating out of turn, like they're impatient and so on. So that's it's saying that connects the digestive system, male energy, to issues around mom, and mom not managing to light, to be to ignite your passion for life. We expect different things from mom and dad at the start of life, and we expect love, unconditional love from mom. And if we don't get it, then we don't love ourselves. And in your case, because that fire is not lit, you have resorted to filling it with, trying to address it with male energy, which you can't really do. It's a completely different thing. So the eating disorder will never achieve what you set out to achieve. So anyway, the point of this dream is to work on the issues around mom, because that's going to help you with the eating disorder as well. And what have we got? Is there anything else there? You say before that there is another situation with the same people, but there is something wrong with my mouth or my lip which needs to be operated on. I'm paralyzed in some way, but I can't remember the details well. Okay. Well, because you can't remember the details, we can't really go into it. But there's something wrong with your mouth or your lip, and it needs to be operated, and you're paralyzed. So this is about not being able to express yourself, because we obviously use our mouth to express ourselves, and it needing the operation. It doesn't say you need operation in reality, but it's something that you need to work on. So work on the issues that cause you not to be able to express your true feelings, and you say that. That's how you were as a child because of the baby elephant. So we see how these two dreams work well together. But that's what you need to do. The expression, the inability to express yourself in a way where you don't feel judged, is what causes you to have the eating disorder. And we see the connection again to food, because something wrong with your mouth and lip, which is also used for eating. So there we go. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, you said, for the past few months I started to get involved in some shamanic practices. I don't know that it's important to have ceremony. Oh wait, I know that it is important to have ceremony, and particular fire ceremonies. I have a little garden plot where I have the opportunity to build an outdoor fire, but I felt a bit nervous about it because of the neighbors telling me off. It's not allowed where I am. I'm wondering, why is this crazy woman talking to a fire? I like that. Of course, they didn't tell you off. This is just your fear. And so this is part of your issue about you being yourself and doing what you want to do in your life. I made 2 attempts. One was a new moon fire ceremony, and I did it with a friend, so it wouldn't feel so weird if a neighbor saw us. And the other was for the solstice in December, which I did on my own. I was following an intense online course for 3 weeks and put a lot of effort in preparing for it beforehand. But then when it actually did it, I was quite nervous about being seen and judged. And so that's what we have. That's what I said before. And so I didn't feel very satisfied with the ceremony. In both cases, I felt as though the fire was too small, and I didn't burn as strongly as I would have wanted, and I needed more firewood, and you give a little bit more there. So, and your question to me then was, if this went on, does that make a difference about what the fire is? And so here's the way it works. Our dreams use events in our lives as the palette from which to draw on the canvas of our dream. Does that make sense? So you had this issue with the fire and the issue of feeling judged, by trying to light this fire and so on. And so that fits in with you feeling judged if you express yourself. So it doesn't change the meaning of the symbol, rather it enhances it, because it's something you really wanted to do, and then you were disappointed with yourself and you want to give up on this. Let's see. Yeah, you could do that. You could continue to do this if you wanted. I don't think it's a big thing. I don't think you need to do shamanic stuff in your life. But if it's something that's going to help you get back into life and participate, then yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it doesn't change it for you. Sometimes it does for people, but for you it doesn't. It makes it a much more powerful symbol, because this is something that you really wanted to do, and your fear of being judged really spoiled the whole thing for you. So much so that you brought somebody else, and that's good that you brought somebody else to do it with you, and you still felt like it didn't work the way it needed to. So was there anything else in those dreams? No, I think it's very straightforward. Work on the issues around mom. It's going to help you express yourself, and it's also going to help you um, solve your eating disorders, because they are connected to not being able to manage, let's say, mom failing in her job because you had originally another woman trying to start the fire. Um, okay, don't mean to knock your mom and that. Mom can be perfect in so many ways, but it's really about how we are affected by that relationship that's important. And so you work on this and heal this without even having to talk to your mom about the fact that you're doing that. Anyway, let's move on. Here's a few dreams from Jake. He says, in my dream, someone needs a car because their car is broken down, and I'm offering them my extra car. It's a Honda Civic, and you give it to them to drive temporarily because I can use my Mazda RX-8. I was wondering if it was a good idea because what if my Mazda breaks down? It's a sensitive car and breakdowns can happen. Okay, I like it. So you're obviously meant to help people with their karma. That's what you're meant to do. And I'm just going to skip straight to another dream that you sent in. You said, in my dream, someone needs some money to travel home from work. And so traveling home in a dream is about restoring your former awareness, getting back to who you are. I have the money in the bank and I have to go to the bank to withdraw it to lend to this person. So again, you helping people to get to where they need to be. I go to the bank and I get lost and I'm worried I would not be back in time to give this person the money they so desperately need. I do have the money. I somehow end up with a huge envelope of large banknotes, a big stack of money that is actually all mine. I tried to hide it and carry it safely with me to give at least $50 to this person. I sit down somewhere on some stairs, take out all the money. I'm not afraid that I will be attacked or robbed, and I try to pick out a small amount to lend to this person. All of the banknotes were large, 1,000 or 2,000, either dollars or euros, large amounts of money, and I'm having trouble finding the appropriate amount of money to lend them. I'm looking for a $50 banknote. I wake up not sure if I found it. Okay, so the $50 says it's your karma to help other people. That's what you're meant to do. So you have to do this. And then I've never seen a $1,000 or a $2,000 note. So it's about you pursuing your individual path. That's what the 1 is about, and 2 says you're meant to channel when you do it. And of course, with all the zeros after it, is saying like this is really important. This is a big goal for you. And of course, you're trying to find just $50. You say you're not afraid of being robbed, or attacked or robbed, but you do mention that. And then you also do say that you try to hide it. So it's like that's what you got to work on. Work on opening your heart to the point where you're able to share yourself with others and help people in the way that you know that they're meant to be helped. So it's just interesting. I thought how 2 dreams were saying pretty much the same thing. And then continuing on from Jake again, he says, I am in England. Debbie Buss is there with me. I need some dental work done there and wonder if my American insurance would cover the cost. She thinks it would. So Debbie is somebody who did my dream course before, and I know Debbie also does reading. So this is part of what you're meant to do. You're meant to do stuff like Debbie. And I asked Jake before the show what his feelings about Debbie were. And now I already know that he really admires Debbie and she's really helped him a lot with her readings. But I wanted to hear his words in it because I wanted to share that with you. But anyway, that's the point of it. And so getting the dental work done is about allowing you take a bite at life or take a bite at doing what Debbie does, because that's what you're meant to do. And then, of course, you're wondering if your American insurance would cover the cost. Debbie lives in England, but the insurance is like represents a fear. What if this goes wrong? I don't want to put myself out there and then lose out. But it's not losing out financially. It's just it's my fear of being left hanging or it not working or whatever it is, whatever fill in the blank for you. But you've got to do it. You can't do this with insurance. It's not about, oh, I'm going to come here and I'm going to do all these things And there's going to be absolutely nothing I need to face and overcome in order to be able to do this. Of course, you have to face and overcome things because that's where the growth is for you. That's why you do it. The working using your spiritual gift is always going to involve you having to overcome something else. So it's always helps two people. It helps you and it helps the person that you're working with too. England is just because Debbie's from there, but if anybody's wondering, if you're not from England, England would typically be about education because that's where the exam system that we all use today comes from, the written exam system. So this is about how you're going to learn about yourself. That's my point, Jake. And then a last one. Jake says, I have a medical procedure done on me and some tubing coming out of my body. Instead of draining the fluids out of my stomach, it is actually suctioning a dirty water from the floor of some bathroom I was using. I just noticed it and I am slow in reaction to it. It took me some time to take the tube out of the dirty water to stop suctioning. I wondered what the dirty bathroom floor water was going to do to my belly. I felt I was still safe because of my immune system and because the dirty water was bypassing my stomach and going through my intestines. I felt like people were not noticing that the tube was suctioning, but they thought it was actually draining. Okay, so this is a classic one. If you talk to my daughter Heidi, because of all her medical training and her channeling ability, she will be able to just most likely say to you, here's what your condition is. But clearly what it's showing is, and Jake has digestive system problems, and he's had all sorts of tests done to see what is the problem, and they've never figured it out. And so this dream is saying that there's a flow going the wrong direction in your intestines, and that's what's causing the problems. You also say that you're slow in reaction to this, so this says that your digestive system is slow, it's sluggish, it's not moving at the speed it needs to. And so I think you would almost discover this if you looked it up on the net yourself to see, okay, what would cause food or liquids to travel the wrong way in my system? And that's probably going to be a blockage or something, but I'm sure they've checked for this. But that's what you've got going on. So it's the first time I've seen from one of your dreams an indication that it is something physical that needs to be addressed. I like in the dream how you're not worried about it, and you know that your immune system is still good, but the dirty water is there, and it's definitely something you've got to address. I think that's going to be it for this week. Just looking at the clock, we're out of time. So remember, go to dream-analysis.com, download my dictionary there and follow along with your own dreams, or submit your own dream to the show and I'll have it on a future episode. Until next week, I'm Michael Sheridan. Thanks for listening.